Hi everyone, welcome to Current Events Articles in Psychology. I just wanted to express a warm welcome to you for joining me in this adventure. We will be reviewing current articles on various psychological topics to include human sexuality, dating, love, health and wellness, and lots of more articles. Anyway, but the best part is we are going to learn how to interpret each topic using the main perspectives in psychology, such as the behavioral model and the cognitive model, the sociocultural model, and so on and so on. So first, I will review a particular article, then present a lecture on psychology's perspectives. Then you pick one psychological perspective and tell me how that particular perspective interprets the finding of the article. How fun is that? I am so excited to see all of your responses. And you know my motto, go where you are celebrated, not where you are tolerated. Learn lots and smile even more. This article is entitled, "Are You a Gray Area Drinker?" Expert reveals 6 questions to ask yourself to find out if you have a problem with booze without being an alcoholic. This article is written by Alanah Khosla for MailOnline. Grabbing a post-work pint or glass of wine with friends at the weekends is a world away from most people's idea of being an alcoholic. But many women are unaware when their drinking has become problematic without having formed a dependency on alcohol. In other words, these adults are falling victim to gray area drinking. Now, as we go through this article, I want you to think about yourself or somebody close to you that you know. Quick note, alcohol use disorder in women has increased by 80% in the past 30 years. Women's health coach and accredited gray area drinking coach has addressed the issue in her latest book, Beyond Booze, and devised a simple checklist to discern whether you are a gray drinker. After forming a dysfunctional relationship with alcohol in 2019, Sarah decided to give up alcohol. Despite the monumental leap, the author has never looked back. Now, she's on a mission to help others battling with gray area drinking to help them create an alcohol-free lifestyle. Sarah has challenged her journey into helping other women stuck in her previous predicament to achieve a healthier and happier way of life. Now, are you ready for the quiz? Yes, you are. The question is, are you a gray area drinker? All right, question number 1, and you are to answer yes or no. Question number 1, are you concerned about the amount of alcohol you drink? 2, do you set yourself rules about your drinking? For example, how many drinks you can have and how often? 3, do you secretly worry about drinking and find yourself regretting drunken decisions and conversations? 4, does alcohol feel like it's robbing you of life? 5, are you not always honest with others about how much you drink? And 6, do you take breaks from alcohol but later return to old habits? If you checked off even one of these questions, it is a sign that you lie in the gray area drinking zone, according to Sarah. She said, gray area drinking describes people who consume more than a moderate amount of alcohol, but don't meet the criteria for actual dependence. Most don't view themselves as in need of help, but they do acknowledge their alcohol use is having a negative impact on their life in some way, whether it's physical, mental, or both. She concluded, gray area drinkers have passed the point of, quote unquote, take it or leave it drinking and are using alcohol for something else, a reward, a relaxant, confidence, to switch off or to numb themselves from their emotion, perhaps. It comes after a new report found that British women are the biggest binge drinkers in the developed world, with 1 in 4 getting hammered each month. Some 26% admit to consuming 6 or more alcoholic drinks in a single occasion, with experts blaming the wine o'clock culture. This is more than double the average rate of 12% among the 33 countries analyzed by the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development. British women were matched only by those from Denmark at 26%. So the OECD's Health at a Glance 2023 report warns that alcohol increases the risk of heart disease, strokes, liver cirrhosis, and certain cancers. British men are the third biggest binge drinkers, with 46% having downed the equivalent of 60 grams of pure ethanol on a single occasion in the past 30 days. This places them behind Romania at 55% and Denmark at 49%, and compares with an international average of 27%. Addictions expert John Britton, an emeritus professor at the University of Nottingham, said, "These figures are extremely worrying. Harm is occurring under our noses because alcohol remains an integral part of our society and everyday life, much like tobacco was. In other countries, alcohol is used as a social lubricant, a way of making social occasions more enjoyable, not as a route to getting legless as it often is here. Too many people also turn to alcohol to help them unwind at the end of a stressful day at work, when they should look for healthier alternatives." So I want you guys to tell me, in your opinion, what are some healthy alternatives to drinking? And when does social drinking become a problem? In this lecture, we will review the different perspectives on abnormal behavior. Those in the field of abnormal psychology study people's emotional, cognitive, and or behavioral problems. Abnormal behavior may be defined as behavior that is disturbing, which is socially unacceptable, distressing, maladaptive, which is self-defeating, and often the result of distorted thoughts, which are cognitions. There are a number of different perspectives used in abnormal psychology. While some psychologists or psychiatrists may focus on a single viewpoint, many mental health professionals use elements from multiple areas in order to better understand and treat psychological disorders. Let us first begin with the medical perspectives. This approach to abnormal psychology focuses on the biological causes of mental illness emphasizing understanding the underlying cause of disorders, which might include genetic inheritance, related physical illnesses, infections, and chemical imbalances. Medical treatments are often pharmaceutical in nature, although medication is often used in conjunction with some type of psychotherapy. Okay, so those who hold a medical perspective focus on biological and psychological factors as causes of abnormal behavior, which is treated as a disease or mental illness and is diagnosed through symptoms and cured through treatment. Hospitalization and drugs are often preferred methods of treatment rather than psychological investigation. Recent research linking biochemical disorders with some abnormal behaviors has provided some support for this approach. Okay, next, let's move on to the psychodynamic perspective. This perspective has its roots in the theories of Sigmund Freud. The psychoanalytic approach suggests that many abnormal behaviors stem from unconscious thoughts, desires, and memories. While these feelings are outside of awareness, they are still believed to influence conscious actions. Therapists who take this approach believe that by analyzing their memories, behaviors, thoughts, and even dreams, people can uncover and deal with some of the feelings that have been leading to maladaptive behaviors and distress. So again, the psychodynamic perspective proposed as an alternative to the medical approach evolved from Freudian psychoanalytic theory, which contends that psychological disorders are the consequence of anxiety produced by unresolved, unconscious conflicts. Treatment focus on identification and resolution of the conflicts. Now, let's move on to the behavioral perspective. This approach to abnormal psychology focuses on observable behaviors. In behavioral therapy, the focus is on reinforcing positive behaviors and not reinforcing maladaptive behaviors. The behavioral approach targets only the behavior itself, not the underlying causes. When dealing with abnormal behavior, a behavioral therapist might utilize strategies such as classical conditioning and operant conditioning to help eliminate unwanted behaviors and teach new desired behaviors. So, those espousing a behavioral perspective contend that abnormal behavior results from faulty or ineffective learning and conditioning. Treatments are designed to reshape disordered behavior and using traditional learning procedures to treat new, more appropriate, and more adaptive responses. For example, a behavioral analysis of a case of child abuse might suggest that a father abuses his children because he learned the abusive behavior from his father and must now learn more appropriate parenting tactics. Okay, so moving on to the cognitive perspective. The cognitive approach to abnormal psychology focuses on how internal thoughts, perceptions, and reasoning contribute to psychological disorders. Cognitive treatments typically focus on helping the individual change their thoughts or reactions. Cognitive therapy might also be used in conjunction with behavioral methods in a technique known as cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. So, according to the cognitive perspective, people engage in abnormal behavior because of particular thoughts and behaviors that are often based upon their false assumptions. Treatments are oriented towards helping the maladjusted individual develop new thought processes and new values. Therapy is a process of unlearning maladaptive habits and replacing them with more useful ones. Okay, and the final perspective of today's lecture is entitled The Social Cultural Perspective. From the social cultural perspective, abnormal behavior is learned within a social context ranging from the family to the community to the culture. Cultural variables acquired through learning and cognitive processes are believed to be important and produce an abnormal behavior. Anorexia and bulimia, for example, are psychological disorders found mostly in Western cultures, which value the thin female body.